With this expanded local newscast brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. WHOW, the Big 1520, celebrated its 75th anniversary with a gala banquet Saturday night at the Clinton Country Club, raising over $3,000 for 3 local nonprofit organizations. The station paid for the entire night, so the $2,600 in ticket sales could be split between the Neighborhood Care Center's no-feed grocery shopping and the Clinton High School Student Activity Fund. Another $450 was raised in a raffle, with that money going to the Central Illinois CEO program. Following the service of a catered dinner and pieces of the WHOW 75th anniversary cake baked at Kirby Foods in Clinton, a 1-hour video with the history of WHOW was shown. That video, which includes audio from Uncle Johnny Barton, Red Cravens, the Sangamon Valley Boys, Denny Sarver, Bill Ward, Ozzie Pearl, Larry Dooling, and Wayne R. Miller, can be seen on the station's WHOW YouTube channel, WHOW TV. Clinton Area Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Marion Brizard told Regional Radio News she's grateful for how WHOW promotes the Clinton community.
Promote our community, which is the number one thing that WHOW does, is promote the wonderful community of Clinton and our surrounding area. On the air, off the air, your people are all 100% pro Clinton, pro shop local. We just congratulate you for being here for 75 years. I remember back, was it about 20 years ago when that antenna fell and everybody thought the station's going to close, but thank goodness it did not, and it came back. We would be lost without the radio station.
WHOW President and General Manager Randall J. Miller thanked all those who attended Saturday night's event to honor the station's legacy of service to Clinton, DeWitt County, and Central Illinois. WHOW's AM 1520 signal has a scheduled tower maintenance service outage for today and will be off the air at 3 o'clock this afternoon, weather permitting. WHOW's FM repeater at 92.3 in DeWitt County and 106.5 in McLean County, as well as the WHOW stream and sister station WEZC 95.9 FM will all remain on the air and are not affected by the AM 1520 outage. The Clinton Chamber of Commerce will have a new executive director starting January 1, 2023. Marion Brizard is retiring at the end of the year, and the Chamber Board has named Janice Peterson as her replacement. Peterson has been in the office for about a month now, and Brizard says she's learning the ins and outs of the operation.
As many people may or may not know, I'm retiring from the Chamber of Commerce, and Janice we hired her the end of September, and she started the 1st of October to come in and work at the Chamber of Commerce. So this is Janice Peterson. She's a longtime Clinton resident and knows a lot about our community, which is a wonderful thing coming into the Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Janice.
Pretty much.
Done quite a bit. There's still a lot to learn. Not going to say that. Learned everything, but she's learned the front desk position pretty well. There's still some questions, which is fine because I expect questions. Questions are better than mistakes.
Peterson explains she has an advertising background, and through a few job losses in the last few years, Brizard reached out to her about the opening, and she's enjoyed her time at the Chamber so far.
I have an advertising background, and I have worked here in Clinton at a local car dealership for many, many years. And just with COVID, things changed there quite a bit, and went to work in Bloomington for a little while, but now I'm back in Clinton where I want to be, and continuing this journey is going to be an amazing journey, and I'm looking forward. The job that I had in Bloomington got eliminated. Marion saw that I didn't have a job. We were friends on Facebook, and we've been friends for a while, and reached out and said, I have an opening if you're submit your resume if you're interested. And I jumped at it because I love people and I want to make a difference in Clinton. And it just seemed to be a good fit.
Peterson recently wrapped up her first time helping to organize the Chamber's biggest fundraiser, the Haunted House. She looks forward to guiding the Chamber through other annual events like the annual dinner, the Business Expo, and May Days, among others. The Scovill Zoo in Decatur will soon get started with a significant renovation to its Herpaquarium building on its grounds this winter. The 2022 season has wrapped up, and Executive Director Ken Fry indicates the zoo will be gutting the Herpaquarium and bringing it into the 21st century.
Yeah, we do. We're actually redoing our Herpaquarium this past year or two. We actually redid the roof, redid the siding on the outside, and this winter we're going to gut the whole inside. And so what you saw this summer will not be there next year. So it's kind of just modernizing the look of the interior of the Herpaquarium, kind of changing. It'll still have, the displays are kind of around the wall in the center area with some animal displays that basically set up the kind of same sort of way, but just kind of modernized. And so we're really looking forward to doing that and having it just kind of come up to the 2000s instead of 1980s, that was built in, and it was very modern for the 80s, but it aged. It's done well for those years, and we're really looking forward to kind of upgrading it and letting people see the new exhibits.
Sure. According to Fry, the exhibit this time around will be centered around the animal and its amenities. He says a significant financial contribution is helping pay for this over $500,000 project.
And it's all about the animal that this time around. We talked welfare before, and then choice and control of the animal and the different environments and substrates, and a heat choice and a no heat choice, and even reptiles and spiders get those kind of amenities. And so it's kind of upgrading their little exhibits and aquariums to be able to handle those type of features. It's going to be about $500,000 or so.
Kidding.
So it's going to be a major project, and we did win a grant for this as well. We also had a donor that gave $100,000, over $100,000 towards that renovation.
That's
and so
great.
we're real excited to have that part of that too. So it's amazing how expensive some of these things are too. Then you start getting the people that do these aquariums and do these habitats, and the numbers they come back with is like, holy.
Fry indicates the estimates for projects are well beyond what he estimates personally, and says the supply chain issues and inflation are not helping things over the last few years.
So yeah, it really costs a lot to, when I think about zoo exhibits and looking at new things and projects, I usually come up with a figure in my head of what I think it'll cost, and then I double it, and then I double it again. I'm usually probably getting closer to what it actually costs. It's just amazing, especially with construction costs going up. Projects, just with the material prices going up, are 30% more of what they were, 37% more of what they were just last year. And so you just have to add that in right off the top. And so you really have to plan ahead for these kind of projects.
For some animals, the current aquariums can simply be moved from one building to another, but for the bigger animals, they'll have to find some space in other buildings of the zoo. Fry hopes the Herpaquarium is, because it's not a big space, the project should not take long, but does not know what kind of challenges they may encounter along the way. You may or may not know that Social Security handles enrollment into Medicare Parts A and B, not Part D or Advantage plans. And 2023 will bring some welcome changes to the start date for Medicare Part D for some of the enrollment periods. Jack Myers with Social Security explains the enrollment periods are not changing, but the effective dates of coverage are for some. If you are collecting Social Security benefits prior to age 65, you will automatically be enrolled in Medicare Parts A and B, and coverage will start the first day of the month of age 65 attainment.
So there are some pretty big changes coming to the enrollment periods. And Seth, it might make sense for me to break this down a little bit to kind of talk about what all that means. So, people may or may not know that we at Social Security handle enrollment into Medicare Parts A and B. Now, we don't do enrollments into Part D or Advantage plans, but we do the basic Part A and Part B, which is kind of the foundation for everything else. You kind of have to start there with Medicare. So we do that at Social Security. And in 2023, there are going to be some welcome changes to the start dates for Medicare under a couple of the enrollment periods. And so, one of the interesting things with the Medicare Part B especially is there are 3 different enrollment periods. There's the initial enrollment period, there's a special enrollment period, and there's a general enrollment period. And, most people will typically get in under what we call that initial enrollment period, which is right around the time you turn 65. And so, typically, if you are already collecting a payment from Social Security prior to the age of 65, then you're going to be automatically enrolled into Medicare Part A and B during that initial enrollment period. You really don't have to initiate the A and B enrollment. If you want drug coverage or supplements or an Advantage plan, you do that but through the plans, but you don't have to do anything with Social Security.
According to Myers, if you are not collecting Social Security benefits prior to age 65, you will not be automatically enrolled in Medicare Parts A and B and will need to apply at ssa.gov or by calling 800-772-1213 or your local office. Keep in mind, Social Security considers you to attain your age the day before your birthday. So if your birthday falls on the first of the month, your age 65 attainment month is actually the month before.
Now, if you're not collecting Social Security benefits as you approach age 65, then that's when you need to take action to get signed up. And typically we would recommend that you do it during that initial enrollment period, which is the 3 months before you turn 65, the month you turn 65, and the 3 months after. Now, one of the big changes that's coming in 2023 is going to be the effective date if you use an initial enrollment period, for example. So right now, the way it is and the way it's been for years is if you signed up in the first 3 months, the time before you turn 65, your coverage would be effective day one of the month you turn 65. If you signed up the month you turn 65, it would be effective the next month. So you'd kind of have a month delay there. And then if you got later, because it's, the enrollment period extends 3 months after the month you turn 65. But if you got deeper into that enrollment period, you might have a 2 or 3 month lag in when that coverage starts. So effective with January 1 of 2023, if you sign up in the first 3 months of your initial enrollment period, your coverage will still be effective the month you turn 65, day one of that month. But then if you sign up in any of the remaining months of the initial enrollment period, the coverage will simply be effective the month after. So you wouldn't be looking at that 2 or 3 month lag anymore. And that's something that's coming in 2023. So a lot of people have been kind of anxious for that. And I'm happy to say that we're going to see that come in 2023.
The special enrollment period is not changing, and the general enrollment period is changing to coverage beginning the month after enrollment.
Well, the other one, just to get into a little bit on the other enrollment periods, the special enrollment period is not changing. So if you're working and you're covered by group health, or a family member is working and you're covered by group health, you can defer Medicare and get signed up later with no penalty. That's all the same in 23 as it is in 22. And then the other one, the general enrollment period, used to be that if you signed up January through March of each year, coverage would start in July. The change that's coming for 2023 is if you sign up during that general enrollment period, the coverage will be effective the month after. So it's still January through March is the window, but the coverage will start the month after enrollment instead of waiting until July.
Myers again directs anyone with questions to ssa.gov or by calling 800-772-1213. You can also contact your local Social Security office. A familiar nighttime voice on two of the Miller Media Group radio stations, WTIM in Taylorville and WHOW in Clinton, has died. Jim Bohannon died Saturday morning after a bout with stage 4 cancer. Bohannon was on leave for several months from his nighttime talk show, heard across the country on the Westwood One radio network while battling the disease. He then came back in late summer, but officially retired in October and made his illness public. Bohannon was also a monthly guest on both stations' morning shows to discuss the issues of the day. He was 78 years old. 23 minutes after the hour here on this Monday morning. Plenty more to get to coming your way on the WHOW Morning Show.
Are you a friend of agriculture? This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. We're giving a $500 Friends of Ag discount to anyone that orders a new Chevrolet or Buick to be built just for you this month. Are you a friend of ag? You are if you're a member of any ag organization employed by any ag-related business, including research, inputs, manufacturing, sales, and marketing, and of course, ag education. Come in, order yours today. BombChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
24 minutes after the hour is news time on the WHOW Morning Show, streaming to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. The trucking industry continues to pay close attention to diesel supplies and prices. Don Schaefer is with the Springfield-based Midwest Truckers Association. Currently, diesel prices are averaging $5.34 in Illinois. They were $5.31 a week ago, $5.30 a month ago, and $3.64 this time last year. Expecting more people this year for Thanksgiving? An expert has some advice about how much turkey to buy. Gary Crawford has more.
Hunting. It's that time of year when many of us go out hunting for a turkey. Oh, no, not out in the wild as some do, but at the supermarket. Now, over the last couple of years, some of us have had to scale down the number of people at our Thanksgiving dinners. I remember Agriculture Department food safety expert Meredith Carruthers telling me 2 years ago,
we are just going to do a little small get together this year.
But this year, it looks like many of us are going to have more folks over for dinner. Now, Meredith works with the Agriculture Department's Meat and Poultry Hotline, the number of which we'll give you in a minute. She says one of the big questions that they get on the hotline is, how big a turkey do I need to buy for the number of guests that are coming? And Meredith, what do you tell them?
So we generally recommend to follow about a 1 pound per person rule, and then about 1.5 pounds if you would like to have leftovers. So depending on your party size, depending on how many people are eating, usually about 1 pound to 1.5 pounds per person.
Now, as far as shopping for that turkey, Meredith says it's important to know that the longer that raw meat or poultry is at room temperature, the greater the chances that any bacteria that might be in or on it will multiply, especially if it's out of the freezer for more than a couple of hours. Of course, yes, that turkey is probably frozen, but the thawing begins when you take it out of the frozen meat counter.
So if you have a big grocery shop, if you're going to the grocery store to get everything for your Thanksgiving meal, we do really recommend to try grabbing that turkey towards the end of your shopping trip. So it's not taking a ride in the cart for many minutes or hours, even sometimes in the store, that you're getting it towards the end and it's going straight from the refrigerator case to the checkout, to the car, to home, to the refrigerator.
And it's in the refrigerator that Meredith recommends thawing that turkey. That way the thawing takes place, but the bird's temperature stays below 40 degrees and below the temperature at which bacteria can multiply. But thawing in the refrigerator will take some time, about 24 hours for each 5 pounds of turkey.
And it is safe to keep that turkey in the refrigerator 1 to 2 days after it is fully thawed.
And if you have other questions about preparing that holiday meal, call the folks at the Meat and Poultry Hotline. Here's the number, 1-888-MP hotline, 1-888-MP hotline, or go online to ask.usda.gov, ask.usda.gov. The experts, including you, Meredith, will be working even on Thanksgiving Day from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Right, Meredith?
Yep, we are getting ourselves ready to answer calls rapid fire.
That's right. Gary Crawford reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Coverage of news brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and we stream to YouTube and Facebook, brought to you by Peterson Insurance.